Hey guys, welcome to the Let It Out podcast. Tonight we're featuring nothing but March Mayhem. There's a lot to talk about. March Mayhem is our doubles tournament, probably the most popular tournament that we have across the board. Today we got Joe Militello as always here, and Emily Stone. She's the manager at the Mothership, so she's probably the most familiar face with all of our members here. And she had the privilege and honor of being my partner in March Mayhem last year, which Joe so happily brought up at the end of our last podcast. So let's go ahead and just delve right into what March Mayhem is. It is a doubles tournament. I know that you kind of wanted to give the rundown of what it is.
Yeah, it's a doubles tournament, so that's two people, yourself and a partner. And all the workouts are Centaur 2s, so it'll be two big, long checklists, usually one color, red and a blue or something. And you and your partner will pick a task from each sequential number and do it 2 times in a row. So you can flip-flop back and forth from side to side, but you can't start the next task till you both complete both of those tasks at the same time. And then, scoring and figuring out winning, I think we're going to talk about more here.
We're going to get into
rules
handicap.
change every now and then, but that's the gist of it. It's you guys are both, you're picking what task you want to do. So if you have on guard and stat row, Emily will take stat row, Mike takes on guard. Once they both do 2, they move on to the next task. That's basically it.
Right, and it's a single elimination process, so it's kind of like a bracket, like your March Madness bracket that it's modeled after. And so you're going to be going up head to head against another duo, another couple, and you're trying to outscore your Mayhem boulder and try to score as high as you can above that in comparison to the people that you're going against. So you're not really technically competing against people like on the turf at the same time. You're kind of just competing against your team's average and trying to do the best that you can over that. So it's not really technically head-to-head, but your scores are going head-to-head. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it's probably the most, I guess you could say, participated or followed tournament that we have. It really is, to me, it's the most exciting one to watch, especially the finals, because people actually come and watch and cheer people on. I mean, the environment is just so cool, and this is our 6th year doing it. Probably the best memories I have are specifically from March Mayhem.
Yeah.
How many of you guys been a part of now?
I think I've done 4.
You've done 4?
I think my first year I did it with Chuck.
That's right.
And then Chad, and then Caitlin.
Okay.
Fortune, and then you.
And then me. Now, let's not talk too much about my debacle last year, but I was going through these numbers and the schedule, and I was trying to figure out well, I don't see us on there. I don't even see. Do we even make it to the first round, or do we lose in the bye round?
So I think there were 13 teams in St. Clair Shores.
Okay.
12 made the cut.
Okay, and 1 didn't.
Yeah.
All right, that was us.
That was us.
So
I remember I had the stats.
You had the stats?
Yeah, I remember.
Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, seriously, St. Clair Shores, St. Clair Shores, St. Clair Shores. And I'm like, did we not even make it out of the trials?
How many teams got dropped? Because there's.
Oh, yeah. So not only, I'm joking around, but
yeah,
there was also 3 teams that couldn't finish. They had other obligations after they went ahead of you, and it still wasn't enough.
Yes, still wasn't enough. So, well, actually, in my defense, and you may remember this better than I do, but
it was a tough workout.
Well, I know it's a tough workout, but I do think that I gave myself extra points that I thought I was going to at least hit, and I felt sure.
Yeah, I think you gave yourself a higher.
For sure,
30
because you didn't
days.
have that many workouts in, and you also did your patented super hard as fast as you can 5 minutes, and then you couldn't breathe for the next 55.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I do that all the time. Yeah, go out hard and then fade away.
Yeah.
But no, in the past, if I see I'm an 800 normally, but my boulder says, or my 30-day says I'm a 750, I'm like, I'll give myself those extra points, and I'm not doing that this year because I've learned my lesson. I'm not scoring as high as I used to, and I do not want to get in the situation I was in last year. That was brutal. I don't know about you, but when you're going with somebody who's that much higher than you, it's just nonstop.
I think that we've talked about this a lot. If you are always chasing your partner, then
Yeah.
it's not a good workout and you're not a good match. It doesn't matter if you're both 850. If you are always chasing someone, it's not.
Because
Right.
you never get the break.
Right.
Right.
You gotta there's got to be a break somewhere, and then sometimes if it's in between, if it's at 1.5 and the other one's done,
Right.
you're just screwing everything over.
I mean, that's well, let's talk about that. Like what what would you like? What do you guys think is like the ideal partner, or what should the people watching be looking for in a partner?
I think having some camaraderie with them
For
at
sure.
first is key. Even before your scores is because you got to be able to say, hey, I need you to take this so I can take this next time, or if you want them to go faster, be able to give them not
Right.
constructive criticism, but like give them a boost without them like taking it personally or whatever.
Right.
And then someone that obviously is within probably 50. I think you can get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50 points or 30. I think is probably enough range
I
either
think
way.
the chemistry thing. I mean,
Big time.
The number one thing is definitely the scores, because if you have a big disparity, I mean, it's going to throw you completely off, and it's going to make your chances
Yeah.
a lot harder to move on. But chemistry is huge because you also need to be able to read the other person. Like if you see them kind of like floundering a little bit, you either need to pick up the slack or give them a break, let them pick the next exercises.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
a lot of times people they'll plan out the whole workout. So we'll have it printed out so you can look at it and prepare. So what a lot of people do is they'll take it and they'll make their own column. So they'll take all they'll make the left side all mine, all the right side would be yours. And let's say you're in the middle of it, and what you had planned for the next 5 tasks,
Right.
you can tell your partner's not gonna be able to do it. You got to be able to be like, listen, I got this and this. You take this, and we'll figure it out after that.
That's-
You got to be able to call an audible in the middle sometimes, because reading it and preparing looks good, and you get in there and it totally changes sometimes, and it's not going to go to plan, and you got to be able to switch it up so you can finish and be able to still do good.
I think sometimes too, it's just you hate a certain exercise, and so you're not going to do it. So you kind of plan your sides around that also.
Yeah, that's true.
And that sometimes doesn't work out because, like you're saying, if you get stuck with 5 upper body tasks in a row,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to do it. And you
Yeah, it
have to
looked good last night, and then I got through 2 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can't do 4 more of these.
It's like you don't know what your body's going to be telling you when you're in that minute. You think you're going to know, but again, if you're the person that's behind and you're trying to catch up too, it's a completely different ball game. So, like you said, calling an audible is absolutely necessary. I actually think it's not really wise to have your own column, but maybe have like a rough idea as to what you're going to do. And another thing that's important, I guess, like a technique, if you guys are like running on all cylinders and you guys are in sync, is like setting the partner up for like their next exercise. So you could pick up the plate for them if you were just doing a running exercise and you guys are both doing a weighted exercise.
Is that legal?
Yeah,
That
can
is
you
legal.
do
That
that?
sounds
Yeah.
illegal.
So
That's
I could have handed the plate to you.
I mean, I don't think I've ever handed or seen it handed, but like, okay, they're getting ready to do hikes. I will set the plate up like right on the line for them if it's like sitting over there.
Because I know your partner is allowed
Yeah.
to call out the task for sure. Like,
Yeah.
this is coming up, this is what's next, or I'm going to switch whatever.
Right. I mean, I'm trying to think of like why it wouldn't be.
Well, I don't think it's cool if you have other people
Telling you what's next.
telling you what's next. Like,
Yeah.
not outside of your team, I don't think you should have people who are supporting you calling what's coming up next.
So
I think
I've
that kind
never
of
seen
crosses
that.
the
So
line.
it's like a corner man. Like I haven't
Yeah.
seen that. Yeah. Okay.
I don't think
I
I've
think
seen it
it's-
in March Madness, but in Survivor.
Oh, okay. I
Because
wasn't
I think
really
part
aware
of
that.
reading the board and doing it is
Yeah.
Didn't I
No.
do
what?
Didn't I do that?
No.
Did you? Or maybe.
sure I did.
Okay.
Well, that was
Sorry.
illegal, so that's probably why I lost.
But that's actually a good point, because like if you had like a coach, not a coach, but like essentially someone saying like, orchestrating it for you.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know
that's-
how much of an edge it's going to give you.
that won't work. I think she's mainly talking about like if you're on, you're coming down on, I don't know, like hamstrung or something. You're like, all right, come on, you got quick feet next, quick feet plate shake next, get this done. And if you're back to the thing, you don't have
Right.
to look. You can just get up, start doing it, and go.
Yeah.
I guess it's a little of an advantage.
Yeah.
But from doing it, and I know it's the same for you, we put way too much time into looking at this stuff beforehand.
But that's
we
part
know,
of the fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we know the
Right.
the order that we're going in. We
No,
know it's
yeah,
not.
and
You know,
I mean,
for the
we-
most part, at least the first 20, we know exactly what we're doing.
Like Caitlin was an awesome partner, and she would print them out in the biggest font, so you could
Huge.
read it across the turf. It was
Yeah.
color coded, and it had. We mixed up the tasks, so it had her side and my side, and
Yeah.
she had the scores up there. They had your.
Sorry, I dropped the ball on that one
Jesus.
too. So I think part of the fun is that planning with your partner. What is it you're going to do? I mean, it's, I think, probably the only thing in Cyprus that actually has some strategy in it.
Well, in your holiday barn burners.
Well, there's that too. I mean, so that's kind of like it. Anything that's pick your poison is, I guess, the strategy. But this has the counterpart of somebody else that you're dependent
I
upon.
know.
Either dependent upon, or you're either letting them down or helping them out. But again, that's everybody's different, and that's why I think when you're going just on the scores of a 30-day or whatever it is, that's why we take all the averages, because everything evens out. Someday you're going to hit a workout that's going to hit your weaknesses. Other days it's going to play to your strengths.
This is what I actually think, is that it really doesn't matter if your partner is male or female or what it doesn't matter. I think the camaraderie that you have is
Yeah.
the most important, and I had a great experience with Caitlin. I had a
Right.
great experience with Chuck and
Right.
Chad and everything. So it's
We didn't
just-
have an experience, so
we
I
didn't. I'm not
deprived you
counting
of that.
it.
Yeah.
So it's just what you're good at.
It is. It's very true to have just beyond chemistry. It's kind of like I want to say like your counterpart, somebody who has like the form that you also think is really good and in line with kind of how you have it, and the same tempo is also important too. Like if you know that I need a rest and we kind of go through
Right.
like a lunge slowly together, you know what I mean? That also helps.
But I think that kind of goes back to what you were saying, is just reading the other person and giving the encouragement they need, and not always being ahead so they feel like they're always chasing
Right.
you and
Right.
exhausted and that.
Well, that's what's important about actually knowing the person too, is if someone's kind of lagging behind or whatever, they're still not trying to disappoint their partner at all.
Yep.
And they're not gonna, they may not want to disappoint you and say, I need a break. You might have to step in and say, I got you on the next one. Hang out here and do this. Some stationary task, and I'll travel for you so you can get a break. Or simply tell them, take a break here. I got this.
Right.
Since if you were down at one waiting for him for a
Right.
while or something.
Right.
Like you need to be able to like read your partner and know your partner and what motivates them and what like pisses them off too. Like for me,
Right.
like if I'm struggling, people are like, "Oh, you're almost there. You're almost there." I don't actually like that feedback. I'm like, I know I'm almost there. I'm struggling right now. Give me a second. It's just like, let me be for a second. I'll get through this. Where
So
other people-
you know the lines then? So you're saying?
yeah,
You know
yeah.
that?
But the thing of it is like, but some people really like that extra push, that cheerleading encouragement,
Yeah.
But it just depends on the person. So this year for our handicaps, what we're doing is we're going to have a static handicap. Last year we kind of modified it along the way. What we're going to do is we're going to take your first partner's seasonal boulder and then the second partner's seasonal boulder, and we're adding that together, and that's going to give you your pre-trial boulder. And we're going to have trials, and that's going to happen on anytime between February 22nd to February 25th. You just got to go one of those days against the trial workout, and then whatever you guys score, that's going to be your post-trial score. And we're going to take those two seasonal averages, and then your score that you got, multiply it by 2, we divide it by 4. Did you guys follow that?
All right, let me see if I
Slow
got
it
this.
down, yeah.
So it's seasonal,
Yes.
and pretty much your trial
Correct.
divided by 4.
Yes.
Okay.
But the people also need to know what their pre-trial score is, because that's what they're competing against,
Right.
to find out what their over or under is.
So their plus minus from the pre-trial is going to basically rank the bracket, essentially. Or at
Essentially.
least give buys.
So that's where you're jumping ahead a little bit.
Whoa, sorry.
What we're going to do also to kind of incentivize people to go, as hard as they can in the trial workout is we're allowing at least 60 or as many as 64 teams to sign up. Whatever spots we don't fill, we're going to give buys to the people that score highest over their boulder or their pretrial.
So you're being diplomatic there. So the reason you're doing that is so that people don't, for two reasons. One, people could attempt to score low on there
For sure.
to get their numbers, to get their average low.
Right.
So that's why you're multiplying it by 2.
Yes.
But also, if 64 teams
Yep.
are in it, if 70 teams compete and there's only 64 spots, the lowest 6 are out.
Gone.
So
Right.
that's why you can't sandbag the trial, or you can and risk not getting in the tournament.
It's like a qualifier for like
Yeah.
a race. So I mean, we'll take as many people that want to do it, but you kind of got to qualify just to get in, and then you're going to get a more accurate reading of what people are really capable of, which is why we're multiplying the trial score by 2. Which in the past I didn't multiply it by 2, and last year we kept it kind of going on and on. So
Yeah,
you
so-
had to score higher and higher every time.
Right. So then, this year, once those 4 get divided, that's your number the whole time.
That's your number the whole time, and I think that's the way to go. And then, while we're on it, the first round is going to be March 1st through the 4th, and then immediately following in that week is going to be round 2, which is the 5th through the 8th. Round 3 is 9th through the 11th. The 4th is 16th through the 18th, and then the semifinals is going to be on the 22nd, which is I believe is a Thursday.
It's my anniversary.
Is it? Oh, nice. So that's going to be good luck for you.
Not that
Okay.
it's relevant.
And then the finals is going to be on the 24th. That's a Saturday, and we're going to host it here at the mothership. I don't think it's been here since 2014, I want to say. Because, it had been 2014, so it's been a while. So I'm excited to host it here. And the finals are really cool because people actually come and show up. I remember Royal Oak when it was like the grand opening. I mean, that was sweet because there were a ton of people there, people cheering, and like it just felt like an actual sport and like an arena. And I don't know, like, have you gone to all the finals or like?
No,
No.
I don't think last year was in Shelby, right?
No, that was Harrison.
I don't think I've been to all of them. I know
Okay.
I've been to Summit, Harrison, not last year though.
Okay.
I think the year Chuck won, wasn't it at Harrison?
With Christina? Yeah, that was Harrison. So we've had 2 at Harrison. We've had 1 at Royal Oak.
Yeah.
And then the other ones were here because the other ones weren't around.
Yeah, so I went to the Royal Oak one and one of the Harrison ones.
Okay. So yeah,
They're
no,
fun.
it's
I mean, you can stand around and people are interested. It's.
right.
Are we doing it this year where it's just the 2 competing teams are going
Yeah.
at that time?
Yeah. Why? Did we not do that before?
I feel like maybe a long time ago, it could just be in a regular workout and the competing teams went. But
Oh, we might have done that actually here once. But I mean, over the years, we've gotten kind of, a little bit more refined with how we do it. And it's cool to see. The one thing that's hard is when you're actually watching the finals to know who's ahead of who.
Right. It's
know.
real
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember last year, like, I don't know who's winning. It was like, we're
Remember,
screwing up.
I was saying you almost have to have like a that Nickelodeon game show where they get the extra time beforehand.
Oh, right,
So that they
yeah.
start,
Yeah.
like they get to 40 points, and then the other team goes. So now they're like exact same spot,
totally.
And then they'd have to catch them. So then if they both were on like the 40th task, you would know that they're right
Neck and
with
neck.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
that would make it more interesting because you're like, oh, they're like half task
Right.
or points or whatever.
Yeah, there is a way. The problem would be they wouldn't end at the same time.
and they wouldn't stay there anyway. It would move. Like
Well,
even
it'd
if they
be-
got them at score wise to be in the same spot, it would.
Well, it'd be the equivalent of us starting at the same time as Bill, and 5 minutes in, Bill's 40 tasks ahead of us. So if we started, let's say Bill's at 900 and we're at 850. So we go till we score 50, then Bill goes. By the time Bill catches up to us, we'd be on the same task, and then he'd blow by us like we just started. It's
Right.
the same thing.
That's
But then Bill still has as much time as it took us to get those 50 minutes, so we wouldn't end at the same time. So it's not that it's It's dumb. It's not.
It's like the
not
Mach
feasible.
V workout that we're doing like this month.
The what?
Mach V or Machiavelli.
Mm.
So it's like a list of, I think, 20 exercises this year, and then like it'll say like if you are
Oh, I remember
700
this.
jump to
Yep,
this.
I remember
so that means Bill's got to go the entire way to catch up to the
Right, and then
700.
you start overheat. You start there,
Right.
and he's gonna catch you.
Yeah, so it's like that. One of the hard things to actually do if you're actually an observer or a spectator is to find out like who's actually in the lead. I know we were just talking about that a second ago, but it's really hard to gauge who's winning when they could be potentially 300 points behind each other, which could be 10 tasks.
Could be 10 tasks, but the team 10 tasks back could actually be winning.
Exactly.
And so you really, I mean, you would need a list with the scores
Yeah.
with
Which
every
you could
task
totally
score.
have.
You could
With a
do
plus
it,
minus
yeah.
on it or
I
something,
mean, it's
too.
just. But then what that does is you can't let them out there know they got to be able to figure that out themselves.
That's
Because
a
that's a
good
super
point, too.
advantage. You couldn't let
Like, hey, you got to get a half a task. Yell it.
you could know like you're gonna have to finish Diablo,
Right.
And then that would just solidify them winning. Like that just wouldn't be fair.
That's a good
Well,
point.
but I mean, we kind of talk about that every year, is that the trainers don't know other people's scores if they're competing. They're not
Yes.
allowed to know that because they would have that advantage.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
that's a good thing
Yeah.
to talk about and to tell people who are watching or listening is that none of the scores are posted unless we know both of the individuals or the teams have gone and there's a winner to choose from. But we also do the same thing as a staff, or at least we do here and we did when they were all one entity. Is we don't let the trainers know what everybody scores because you get an advantage over people who either you're going against. We do also actually get a little bit of an advantage, I would say, just by watching people and what they score and where they finish. But that's just kind of the nature of the deal. We got to have somebody here to keep the lights on
Right.
and tell you where to go. But yeah, we try to keep it as fair as possible and kind of keep it completely, even, so we don't know where you need to get to in order to win and advance to the next round.
Because that would, I mean, it's just such a, even knowing that, like if you wanted to get where I got this morning, you were working
Right.
out at 3:30. Just knowing
Yeah.
you got to get somewhere, it's
It's way
so
easier.
much
It's a target.
easier to get
You know,
there.
you know where to
Yeah.
get to.
Yeah.
I mean, different competition, but I was competing against Michelle, I think it's Survivor, and
Mm-hmm.
I watched her every morning and then was just like, okay, I know
Yeah.
exactly what I have to do. I
Yeah.
know what she struggles with, what I'm going to struggle with. It's
Right. And you can place out checkpoints like, okay, she was here, then she was here, like 20 minutes, 40 minutes.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
watched the clock and watched her, and
Yeah.
So you cheated. I mean,
yeah, all the
No,
time.
that's not true. That's, but you know what, though? I do
As
recall.
long as math isn't involved, I can do it.
I recall years past where people would like kind of sit and wait and like watch the people go. I think they would either show up early and watch the person before them, or they would stay, and that's almost like intimidating. Like
If
you know
it's
what I
the
mean?
person I'm going against,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
I think it's totally fine.
I don't think that's fair.
I think at the end, if they've already gone, they could probably sit and watch.
Yeah, if they
but
already gone, but you can't
Yeah.
come here and watch the person you're going
not
against.
not
go.
ahead of time.
No.
Not ahead of
No
time because
way.
then it's like, okay, all right, now I get to see where I got to get to,
Yeah,
and you get to do the math.
can't. Come on.
No, but I mean, all things considered, what we try to do is make it as fair as possible and keep it a little suspenseful until we actually post the scores as to who goes up.
But everyone knows what everyone's handicaps were and what their
Yes.
plus minus and all that, so you can kind
Figure
of
it out.
guess a little bit.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
you're like, if I want to get plus 60,
Right.
That's
Right.
what you got to do is you got to figure out how high you want to get, and then that's where your number is. We got to get 72 or.
Well,
80
that's what you
forecast,
do
but-
is you pretty much you find out like, okay, what did they score on their pre-trial, or what was their pre-trial? How did they score above, the first time they went? And then you can kind of look at the trend the further you get into the tournament and be like, okay, they're always scoring, plus 25 here, a plus 30 there. Oh, they scored negative. That may be harder to figure out, but you can kind of guesstimate how much more you have to score above them. And that, like, in years past, that's kind of the excitement, is trying to figure out, like, who's going to do what in this workout. And one thing I wasn't going to bring up, but it's important, is these March Mayhem workouts, just like the Survivor and Turf Wars, the exercises that I put in them are harder to like shave reps. It's a lot more pushing, a lot more crawling, a lot more of the throws, if you will, and drags, because that way you know that there's no rep skipping or anything like that. So generally speaking, they are higher slope, which means people probably will score higher than their boulder as well. So, but all in all, it's just I love the environment. I love the enthusiasm that people get, and it's just I think it really brings everyone together, even though you're competing.
Right.
You know,
For sure.
Are we gonna announce who we're going with this year?
Sure.
Do you know?
I do know.
I mean, it's January, I think.
It's January right now, and I've already planned all the workouts for February, and that means I got to do March Mayhem next, and it takes a long time to get it all done. But if we're doing the trials in February,
Are the March Mayhem workouts gonna have the cornerstones to start each of them?
no,
Oh, okay.
they're not going to have them in
Okay.
there.
Okay.
I think everyone's kind of happy that we've just gotten past that week. It was a
Oh.
nice little refresher, huh?
Yeah, the mountain bike 2 was
Today.
So
Felt-
fun.
Felt,
15, 20 minutes
refreshing,
long.
felt nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, for me, I like to.
Totally just ruined your train of
It's,
thought.
no, it's all right. It's all right. I like to prepare who I'm going with ahead of time because I need to know either what level I need to be at, or
So you can get really stressed out way in advance.
not stressed out for longer. It's not, it's not stressed. It's important to see them how they're performing, like the months leading up to it, because then you know, all right, am I keeping up with them or am I not? It's also important to work out with them too. I think it's okay. Is my partner working out at 8:30 today? Well, I'm going to try to start building up that chemistry.
That's the thing too. You gotta make sure actually your schedules line up where you actually
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
work out together.
yeah.
One,
Right.
and then two, some people like to work out in the morning, never work out at
Right.
night, and then vice versa. If you guys, you got to make sure that lines up because some people don't work. It just doesn't work for them in the morning. So if that's the case, you got to make sure your schedules line up where you can do it at night, or vice versa. If someone has to go in the morning, can't go at night, and, you know got to make sure that person changes their routine really,
Yeah.
and to do that early on instead of the day before is
Right.
is going to be important because it's a big difference having a PM routine versus an AM routine,
Yeah.
and you don't want to just
It's-
switch it
so
right
it's-
before.
And we should say that the finals are almost always like 9:30, 10:30 in the morning. So if you're not a morning person, which is, I mean that's later morning, they should be aware that that's when the finals are going to be. One thing that is interesting, kind of like as you were saying, kind of being stressed out. It's not really stress, but you're kind of holding yourself to someone else's standard. It's kind of like what we've been talking about doing somebody else's workout. Really, you are doing your partner's workout because you're trying to at least either. I'm always thinking of it as like the underdog's position, like I'm trying to keep up with them. But at the same time, you don't want to be so far ahead of the person that is your partner, because
Yeah.
you don't want to get that far ahead of them because then they're gassed.
Well, not only that, if you're just standing down here for a long period of time,
Right.
for me, like my legs will tighten up. I got to keep moving, so it's just not fun.
Yeah.
And you go to start do something, and you're all tight again. It's not fun. And then you know when you're waiting down here,
Right.
And let's say you're down at 4.
Yes.
You know in your head they're like, I feel so bad.
That's
And you
what
don't
it
want
is.
to
Yeah.
put that pressure on them, but
Right.
you know they're thinking about it.
And then
You know.
I do know.
You know.
And and the thing of it is that you'll push yourself to go before you're really ready.
Yeah.
So then it's just like an ongoing cycle that you just
Of
can't seem to get
yeah,
out of.
you never catch your breath after that.
Right. So, yeah, it's really, really important. I think to line up your partner as soon as you can, and then don't pump the brakes when you're coming to the tournament, like leading up to it, because you don't want your boulder to suffer from it. So, you guys ready to say who you guys are going with?
I mean, we can.
I mean, you want to keep it a secret? Or?
Yeah. No, I am looking at the list here.
You're signing a contract, right?
Yeah, it's contract signing. I am competing with Emily Stone this year.
So I mean,
That'd be good.
I seriously, like, we've been talking offline all day, texting back and forth offline. Do they say that now?
I don't even think that's a thing, but
It isn't, yeah, on the internet or whatever. You guys perfectly matched, I think, for this. Like, when I was asking you guys, like, do you guys have someone lined up? For some reason, I thought you guys were already probably going to be going together. So.
Well, I thought you guys would just come back for round two. So
I've learned my lesson, but apparently not enough, because you'll find out in a second. But no, I mean, you guys with your form and attention to detail, and you guys definitely have that same chemistry that you guys were saying was so important.
and Mexican top 50
Right.
is going to be played when we're working out. So if you
That's-
don't like that, then
No, I
work
do
out
like
at a
it.
different time.
I do like it.
You
although
do like it?
I don't understand it.
That's your problem with it?
It's actually, there's some songs that are like the rap songs that like I'm like, I have no clue. Obviously, I don't know what they're saying, but it's like just sounds like gibberish.
That's a different language, Mike.
It is a different language, but at least if like it had like a little rhythm or a little, I don't know. I could like
Who is your partner?
guess.
No,
It's a suicide mission, absolute suicide mission.
I can't guess.
I already know, I can't.
You know?
Yeah.
How do you know? He told you?
He?
He.
Bill
Maybe I
told
don't
you?
know.
You don't know.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yes. I'm going with Bill.
Oh!
I really am going with Bill. So,
Yeah, we both knew.
did you? Did he tell you? Fuck. How the hell did you know that? Anyway, so it's gonna be a nightmare.
So,
Yeah, so
what's your plan of attack with that?
I don't know. For me, I need to go with somebody who's got good form. I know Bill's got really good form. To me, it's a challenge. It's like, okay, that's the real reason why I want to have a partner ahead of time, because now it's like, okay, now I got 7 weeks to try to get myself up to 1,000. That's really what it comes down to. And I know I'm not going to get to 1,000 because 1,000's like really, really hard nowadays, I think.
But
Yeah.
we've worked out probably 10 times probably in the last month or so, and when you have been going with us,
Right.
you've been
Oh, it
keeping
depends on
up
who you're
to-
going with,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I think, I mean, at least for, as long as you don't gas out early, you and Bill will, or you'll be able to feed off him
Right.
going super hard and stuff, so.
That's the thing. Like, to me, it's always trying to find that dangling carrot that you're always trying to chase, whatever it is, and then just making a challenge out of, all right, what's the next tournament, or what's my next step that I'm trying to take. And for me, I was like, he would be a good guy to go with. And yes, he won last year, but it's like, I'm not trying to do it for that reason. I'm trying to make it challenging for me.
But now you know that from now till March, like every time you work out, you must run all your plus runs.
Yes.
Just because that he's gonna
It's-
if Bonsai starts the workout,
Yeah.
he is gonna sprint the Bonsai,
Right.
and you don't want him waiting for you on the very first task. So I
But-
suggest
but-
running.
But
all
then
the
you
time
you just
now.
said don't go all the way out. Go out.
I know, but he will.
Yeah.
So you're
We'll
gonna
see,
have
we'll
to
see.
now.
He absolutely will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be disastrous because he is so competitive.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking about people who make themselves sick after.
Well, I make myself sick too, but not
Oh.
like, yeah. So I mean, it could be a debacle. It could be early out, just like last year.
It'll be fun.
Could be fun.
It'll be
fun.
it'll be better than last year.
It will be better than last year for sure. Like on a real level, it'll be much better than last year. Not because
No, I
Yeah.
was saying March Madness is fun. It's
It is fun.
stressful. It's
That's
but
the basketball. That's the
competitive.
basketball tournament.
it's like a
Sorry,
right,
sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
it's
sorry.
copyright.
Yeah.
Sorry, mayhem.
Yeah.
'Cause that's fun too, though.
Yeah, I know all about it in sports and brackets and statistics. But we're competitive and
No,
it's a good time.
we wouldn't do any of this stuff if it didn't give you the butterflies, if it didn't give you that stressful feeling, and then that overcoming feeling afterwards. Even if you do lose, your hats
I mean,
off
it's
to
not
the
just
person.
like stressful too. I mean, you are there's excitement too.
Yeah.
You're like
Yeah.
looking forward to
Yeah.
it. It's not like all
No.
doom and gloom.
A-
It's
Right.
a
anxious.
combo. Yeah.
Excitement, adrenaline. That's what it is. I think that's what we all are here for, is that adrenaline,
For sure.
endorphin rush, all that. And this one just has like more of it prior to it. It's more premeditated.
And I think when you do Cyphus, you do know how to push yourself and you're familiar with that, but this is a special time of year when you really kind of
It is.
go the extra mile.
And it's just cool because I think everyone's always just focused on it, whether it's posts or the scores. Everyone's like really uber into what's going on the turf. So, yeah, I think it brings out the best in everything. And I'm really geared for March Mayhem 6. You guys got
Yeah.
anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, until next time, we will see you guys on the turf. This has been Let It Out Podcast.